I've had like 4 good days in a row, so I want to talk about them. I don't know if I'll post this publicly or not. Probably not. Probably not. Is she gonna live? Probably not. But I'm currently in a blanket because it's cold. But I refuse to. I really want to wear this tank top right now because I never wear it. But it's very cute. It's when I was a teenager, you know how you decide like you need certain things to be like this might. I'm just gonna ramble in this video. I feel like I say that in every video because I do feel bad when I like post videos that are literally just me talking to a camera for 15 minutes. So I'm just gonna yap. If you're not interested, this is me talking about like good things in my life. I just need to document this. I probably will post it publicly just because I have so much posted on my private account, my private YouTube. If you don't know, I used to post publicly and then I switched it to a private account because I kind of there were weird people interacting with weird men, and I was underage when I was posting, and it just got really messy. And I only recently started posting publicly again, and I have 5 subscribers. Nobody watches my stuff, but I do it for fun. To be clear, I do it for fun. Sometimes I get embarrassed. I'm like, oh, what if one of the people I used to hang out with like sees my TikToks and like makes fun of me, which they definitely would make fun of me. Like that's not an irrational fear. They are evil. But then I realized like I feel like when people project so much. So when they see me just having fun, posting for fun, they're like, oh my god, she wants to be famous. Which like, of course I want to be famous, but I don't want to be famous for TikToks. I want to be famous for like my poetry and like my books and stuff. Posting for TikTok is purely for the love of the game, and half of the shit I post about is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So like, truly, I don't do this for clout, baby. And I do get kind of embarrassed, and then I have to realize what my intentions are. My intention is not to become famous. I don't ever post a TikTok being like, this is gonna get me famous. I posted TikTok and I'm like, this is so funny. Hopefully I get like 10 likes and like 2 nice comments. And I will say, I didn't really fully understand like post this on Instagram Reel mentality because I was on Instagram Reels. I've been on TikTok since 2020, but I barely used it. I've only like really been on my TikTok era of recently. So I'm an Instagram Reels girly, and I'm on like a pleasant side of Instagram. Here's the thing. I'm going on so many tangents. People hate social media for 2 reasons. One, because social media is evil. No matter how you play it, there will always be evil people on social media. And also because they only interact with content that makes them miserable. Those are a lot of the reasons people hate social media. There's the valid reason of like people just suck sometimes, and people will see any person having fun and enjoying themselves and being like, oh my god, they're so stupid and ugly and fat and dumb, how dare they. People love fat shaming on social media, love it. And people are they're the type of people that are like, oh, I don't fat shame unless you're a bad person. No, you don't fat shame, period, because you're a decent human being. What the fuck is wrong with you? So, you know, they fat shame and stuff, and the people just love to hate. And then, but you can also, like, be on a side of TikTok that, like, isn't miserable. And then there's people who are only hate watch and only consume media that pisses them off. And it's like, girl, okay, at this point, like, what do you expect? Like, it's not right what these people are doing, but like, if you keep walking into a snake pit, you're going to get bit. That's just common sense. So I was really scared to post on TikTok because to me TikTok was a scary place and Instagram was a sacred holy ground. And I don't post on Instagram. I'm scared to because of the post this on Instagram Reels joke where it's like if you post this on Instagram Reels people will come for you. I'm terrified of that. And also I don't know, I feel like if I ever post on Instagram it will be because I got a following on TikTok, which I don't ever expect to happen until I like get published. Hopefully when I get published people will follow me, but like that is a goal. But up until then, I don't plan to post on Instagram. But people are so nice to me on TikTok. I've gotten like 2 mean comments, and they weren't like outright mean. They were just kind of bitchy. Like one of them was like, I posted like I was in a cute outfit. And I was like, I'm feeling so Dreamcatcher sunflower orange creamsicle right now because that's funny and cute. And somebody commented, yeah, whatever that means. And I deleted their comment because shut up. Otherwise, it's just girls being nice to me. And people talking about the Ninja Turtles with me. Which I love. But anyways, I don't know if this is just like an autistic girl thing, but I like as a teenager would like pick random like clothing items or like backpack colors or like things. I'm like I to be like a cliche teenager, I have to own this item, and that's one, consumerism, and two, not correct at all, because to be a teenager you just have to be a teenager. There's no right or wrong way unless you're like doing illegal, morally bad stuff. Otherwise, every teenager is just, I'm a teenager, I'm 19. Every teenager is just kind of obnoxious, and you just have to live with that. So one of mine was a red tank. Red used to be my favorite color. I don't have a favorite color anymore. I don't know why. It just stress. I love picking favorites. I think it's so much fun to know somebody's favorite, like favorite ice cream, favorite movie, favorite TV show, favorite episode in that TV show. I love favorites. I can't pick a favorite color for the life of me. There's just too many options. It feels wrong. But red used to be my favorite color, so I own a lot of red. I own like tons of red. I own a lot of red t-shirts, like red, like they have a lot of red accents. My favorite pair of Converse is my red Converse. I was a Converse girl in high school, and I haven't bought a new pair of shoes. I bought new running shoes, but I haven't bought like a new like cute pair of shoes in forever. So I basically only have Converse, which is perfectly fine with me. I love Converse. I own red sweatshirts, red pajama pants, red tank tops. I own a lot of red. I have a lot of pants with red accents. I like the color red a lot. It's not my favorite anymore, but I do like it. Anyways, I've had a few good days in a row, and I just wanted to kind of talk about it and talk about like where I'm at and stuff. Again, this is mainly for me. It is for me. It's not for anyone else really. I don't even like, I'm like so nobody knows who I am on social media that like I can't even do the excuse like this might help somebody, because this is all just very specific to me, and also like nobody's gonna see this, which is fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's okay. I'm not I don't do it. She don't do it for the man never notice. Hold on, let me say this correctly. She don't do it for the man never notice. She just do it for herself. She the fucking coldest. That's me, guys. That's me. And I think I started doing this in like my very first uploads, but I stopped it. I should do a red one. Yes, but I want to do John Lawrence. I want to start having a stuffed animal in each video, because I have a bunch of stuffed animals and I feel like I should show them off. Is that kind of stupid? Maybe. I don't know. Am I 19 and do I still sleep with stuffed animals? Yeah, I don't feel like that's weird. I feel like that's like completely normal. I feel like, okay, I'm gonna talk about like how I'm doing well after this. But I feel like you go through like a phase where you're a child and you don't care what anyone thinks because you're a child, and 5-year-olds don't understand judgment. And then you hit like awkward preteens and you're like, I have to be an adult. People have to see me as an older human. And so you stop doing things that are childish. And then you turn like 18, like I don't care, I want to sleep with stuffed animals again. And that's just like I think a part of growing up. So I feel like it comes to a part where like it becomes cool again. But to me though, I never stopped sleeping. There was definitely stuff I was like, I need to stop doing this to be seen as a mature adult. I never stopped sleeping with stuffed animals. So here's John Lawrence. He is named after the Hamilton character. He's so cutiepatootie.com. I love him so much. Mitski said it best. I was so young when I behaved 25, but now I found that I've turned into a tall child. Child. You go through a lot of shit when you're a teenager. No matter who you are, you're gonna go through shit as a teenager, and then you're gonna be like 19 one day, and you're gonna be like, I am watching the Ninja Turtles and playing Batman games. I used to be doing so many bad things, and now I am. My biggest concern is Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles. To him, to Mitsuki edits. And I know I've healed, actually. I know I've healed because I can listen to Mitsuki without wanting to gouge my eyes out. And repeatedly jump off a cliff, jump back up, jump back off, just to feel something. I know I've healed because I can now. And actually, I'm so glad because Mitsuki's such a good artist. I love her music, but I used to not be able to listen to it because it just made me want to take a permanent nap and never wake up again. So that's enough of that. Anyways, okay, so I'm not gonna talk about all my mental health issues because there's a lot. But basically, I am severely mentally ill. I have been on medication since I was 15. I started my journey early. I have been to a couple psychiatric hospitals. I've been to quite a few. Yeah, I went to like a good amount in a span of a little over a year. I definitely have my own struggles with mental health. I also have a variety of different mental illnesses. None of them are self-diagnosed. I don't have anything against self-diagnosis, especially if you can't see a psychiatrist. It's so, I can barely afford therapy. I have to go every other week because I can't afford to go every week. Because it's so expensive. And I will admit, there are some really bad therapists and psychiatrists out there. I've never had a negative experience with psychiatrists. I love my psychiatrist. I love her so much. But I have many bad experiences with therapists. I finally started seeing a therapist who I really feel like I can trust. She actually remembers stuff I say to her, which is crazy, because most of them don't. I really like her. But I really I can get how scary it can be because they have the certification doesn't mean they're good. My first ever therapist kept my dad in on all my sessions, which is illegal. It's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. I was 15. I was a minor. I don't even think they're allowed to keep your. And I think if the child is over a certain age, a very young age, you aren't allowed to keep parents in. So it's very illegal. And I've just had a few really bad therapists. So I get how scary it can be. And I do think it comes to a point, if you aren't getting diagnosed with something and you go to multiple therapists and you might not have it. But also, I will admit, there are therapists and psychiatrists out there that just don't want to diagnose people with stuff because they have prejudice and biases. So I'm never going to judge you if you're self-diagnosed. I really don't care. I don't think it takes away from my diagnosis. I don't really care what other people do. I also don't believe, I have a lot of stigmatized mental illness. I'm not going to list everything because I get nervous to list everything I have. I probably will say it sporadically throughout videos. I'll be like, oh, I have this, and then another video I'll be like, oh, I have this. I don't plan to sit down and say every single thing I have in one video for a while, just because people get so weird when you're diagnosed with more than a couple of things. I know that because I had a therapist who was awful. She was terrible. She told me, I can't believe you're still alive. That was crazy. That was crazy of her to say. I miss her though. Sometimes I do miss her. I had a weird trauma bond with her. She's really bad at her job, but she made me laugh sometimes. But I was telling her about my diagnoses, and she's like, I think you're diagnosed with too much stuff. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you could diagnose people. She's like, oh, I can't. I was like, okay, yeah, you're not a psychiatrist, obviously. And she's like, but you have too much stuff. Like, that, you shouldn't have all that. And I told it to my psychiatrist, and she was like, don't listen to her. She can't diagnose you. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And so I got diagnosed with autism by my psychiatrist, and I didn't tell my therapist because I was like, she's not going to believe me. And then a couple months later, my therapist was like, do you have autism? I feel like you have autism. And I was like, I do have autism. I got diagnosed with it, but I didn't say this, but I didn't tell you because you're a bitch. So I have autism. And then I also have some of my most stigmatized, but autism is extremely stigmatized. And I have the ADHD combo. I have ADHD and autism. Gorgeous. And of course I was diagnosed with ADHD first. I feel like most people with ADHD always get diagnosed with ADHD first. That's just my experience. That's just what I've seen. But, I also have bipolar 1 and bipolar by winning, and I also have BPD, which is like so stigmatized. Essentially, BPD has become like I don't want to say TikTok trend. Here's the thing. Do not get too into this because that's not what this video is about. I think a lot of the people who say everybody, the BPD girlies of TikTok, and are saying like everybody who claims to have BPD on TikTok is faking it are kind of insane, and ableist isn't the right word. I don't think that's the right word, but it's like I don't think like, and I also think it's like come to the point where like people who like have BPD and are diagnosed with BPD by like therapists or psychiatrists are self-diagnosed, but like have been self-diagnosed for years. They didn't just see a TikTok and diagnose themselves. They've like done tons of research, which is valid. People with that, I think it's crazy, like, to make them feel insecure and like feel like they aren't allowed to talk about their mental illness just because it's popular on TikTok. And I also think like it's crazy to see like a couple people on TikTok who are kind of batshit crazy, who have BPD, and be like every single person with BPD is like that. I think a lot of the people who claim to be mental health activists. I think a lot of the people who claim to be mental health activists are just kind of terrible people and aren't mental health activists. They are just what's trending activists. But I have bipolar and BPD, which is a really fun combo. If you've never experienced it, it's finger licking good. And I was really struggling with my mental health. So if you're curious, I'll just like keep it. This is supposed to be a positive video, but I'll keep it simple. Basically, what it's like to have at least bipolar 1. I can't speak for people with bipolar 2. I feel like bipolar 2 and BPD would make more sense together, but I don't have bipolar 2. I have bipolar 1, which is bipolar manic. At least that's how it's been explained to me. So bipolar 2 has hypomania, so it's longer spurts of depression, and then like a 2-week or like a couple days like hypomania, and then you're back to being depressed. Whereas bipolar 1, I'm not a medical professional, so like if you generally think you have bipolar, please try to talk to somebody. I should not be your only resource. But if you, bipolar 1 is like longer spurts of mania, so it can last like up to like months, like a year, could last to a year in extreme cases, and smaller things of depression. And I had basically, and how it works with me because of my BPD is I can be in a depressive episode, but I'll have like waves of euphoria, which BPD people do not experience mania. That is one of my biggest pet peeves in the BPD community is when they say they experience mania. You absolutely don't, queen. You do not experience mania. You can say you're experiencing manic-like symptoms. You are not experiencing mania, babe. That's bipolar. If you're experiencing mania, you're bipolar. And you can have both. You can have BPD and bipolar. That's fine. But you're not allowed to say you're experiencing mania when you're not. It's extremely disrespectful. It is. That's a big pet peeve of mine. I also just really hate when people use manic as like a funny term. Like, I manically did my nails at 3 a.m. If you knew the shit I did when I was manic, you would not be saying that. We're not gonna get into all the bad things I've done manic, but just know I've made mistakes. Bad mistakes. So basically BPD is like, there's so much with BPD. I don't want to spend the whole video explaining it. It's a big about attachment, and like, so if you get like mildly rejected by like a person you really respect, there's a little thing called like favorite people, which like I'm not gonna get into. But like if your like dad is like, oh, I don't really want to watch that movie, I'm just not in the mood to watch movies. You're like, he hates me and he wants me to die. He never wants to watch a movie with me again. And then you like ask for validation to the point where like you're really pushing this person to give you validation. That's at least my experience with BPD. I don't know. I know I have BPD though. Sometimes I gaslight myself and I'm like, maybe I'm faking every single mental illness of mine. You're like, if that sounds like something else, starts with an O, ends with a D, has a C in the middle, you'd be right. I do have that as well. Yeah, I'm faking everything for attention. Once I started seeing my new therapist, I didn't tell her I had BPD because, again, I was scared she said I was lying. So she immediately started screening me for BPD. I knew she was screening me for BPD and I just didn't say anything. She's like, do you get like really anxious? Like, it was a BPD screening. And then I was like, she's like, I'm screening you for BPD. And I was like, so I have BPD actually. And she's like, oh, let me put that in your chart, babe. And I was like, thanks. So basically I just had a lot of mental illness and existing is exhausting at points. I sometimes feel really stupid. One of the things I'm like actually very insecure about is I'm currently unemployed. I haven't had like a real job ever. Again, to keep it brief, in high school, I went to a couple different high schools before I found out like what was right for me, and I ended up doing an online school, and I graduated. I did graduate. I actually have graduation in July, which is really exciting. So I did graduate, but in public school, before like everything really went to shit in my life, you know, my Canada event of sophomore year, we all have it, babe. I was a cheerleader, and I also did football team management, and I also was in 3 honors classes, and I was also in a crippling codependent toxic friendship that sucked the life out of both of us. And we were terrible for each other. We were actually so terrible for each other. And I was a huge problem. I was terrible. If I could beat the fuck out of 10th grade me, I would in a heartbeat, and then I'd get her psychiatric help. But I beat her up first, I would. And I let the girl who I was friends with, I'd let her beat me up as well. And you know what? I'd also let her beat up current me. I feel like she deserves that. But, it was emotionally exhausting. It was so terrible. And I didn't just develop all these mental illnesses overnight. I had all of them back then, and I was undiagnosed and unmedicated, and it was just terrible. And I was so overworked by the football team I was managing. I was going to 3 games a week, one as a cheerleader, a varsity game, and either a JV or a frosh game as a manager. And I was also going to 2 practices, Monday and Tuesday, after school practices, and I was going to morning practices for cheer while being an honor student and keeping up grades. And the point is, I was exhausted. And then I had a big friendship breakup, and I landed myself in the psych ward for the first of many times. And I'm telling you this not to overshare. I hope I'm not oversharing. I'm not doing this for attention. I'm not doing this for sympathy or pity. I'm just telling you that, like, I understand what it's like to be exhausted, and I was so unbelievably just like, I don't even think I realized how much that whole situation affected me until I was like, had a clear mind. I talk a lot about my past because I was so severely mentally ill. And I still am mentally ill, but like I was unmedicated mentally ill. I feel like I woke up one day, like I found clarity, like this fog lifted for me and I could like think rationally for once. That's how it felt when I started medication. I'm not gonna tell you every medication I'm on because I know people get weird, but I will say I'm on lithium and I love lithium. I love lithium. If you are bipolar, I would seriously consider lithium. It is so good. It is so awesome. You do have to get your blood drawn every like couple months, and that sucks, but it is so, I would get my blood drawn weekly if it meant I could stay on lithium.
That good?
Yeah, that's good. Colby, no, we're not doing this. I love lithium. I'm obviously not going to tell you what's right for you, but if you are bipolar and you're really struggling and you're like, I don't want to do anything extreme, I don't want to lose my sparkle, you are not going to lose anything. Your life is going to get so much better. I think if you have severe mental illness, like multiple mental illness, and I also have a lot of childhood trauma. I had a very traumatic childhood. Medication is amazing if you can afford it, if you can get it. It's amazing. It changed my life. I genuinely would be a horrible person without my medication. I would not be able to exist without my medication. I would be I would be awful. I would be awful. And I'm not trying to say that to excuse that behavior. I'm just saying like it's not like it's not a thing I can live without. I think people think mental health medication is like an option for some people, and it's not an option for me. It has never been an option for me. It'll never be an option for me. And and I hope I'm not oversharing too much. I don't, none of this is, I'm not embarrassed of any of this. I'm not ashamed of any of this. I'm not doing this for attention. So I think I'm okay. But medication saved my life. I think if I ever do become famous, I want to write banger poetry. I want to make that very clear to every single person who interacts with anything I create. Medication saved my life. Medication saved my life, and finding the right medication saved me. And I would not be me without my medication. I really feel like I can think clearer, and I know who I am, and I can distinguish things really easily, and I also feel like I get less taken advantage of, and I can like speak for myself, and I'm so much happier with who I am, and so much happier with the person I've become, and I don't know how people who have my mental illnesses don't go without medication. Genuinely, they're the strongest people alive, because it's not an option for me. It's not something I can live without. It's something I need to. I can't even skip a day. If I accidentally miss a night, I feel so manic. It's so terrible. But the point is, since I'm on a heavy dose of lithium, and I'm not gonna tell you what I'm on. I'm on a pill for nightmares. Colby, I'm not doing this. I'm on a pill for nightmares, which is, you probably know it if you take it. Yeah. I'll say it, Lexapro. I'm on an antidepressant. Yes, I am. And then I'm on another mood stabilizer. So, I have a good cocktail, and I will say the hardest part about being on medication is that first couple months when you're finding out what works for you. That's very hard. That's very hard. It's a very hard time. And I just hope the people in your life give you the grace you deserve, because it is I'm not doing this. Go lay down. Come on. Come on. I hope the people in your life give you the grace you deserve. Because it's extremely difficult. But So I do feel insecure because I am unemployed. I'm trying to find a job. I'm trying so hard. I apply to so many places every day, and it's so awful. People just aren't hiring, and it's awful, and it's not fun, and it's, yeah. But I do start school in the fall. I'm prepping for everything. I'm currently getting my transcripts ready, my ACT scores, SAT, SAT scores. I'm just getting everything ready. I am so glad I'm not in high school anymore. High school for me felt like a million years. I graduated a semester late. I graduated one semester late. I don't technically graduate till July, but like I've been out of school since January. So technically a semester and a month. But I haven't had to do schoolwork in months. It is like a really long extended period of like summer, but I feel so insecure. Um, I think I need to realize is like, one, people don't care, but also I know there are miserable people on the internet who will see a girl cry over the Ninja Turtles and be like, oh my god, that's your biggest problem. Yes, because I basically just on an extended summer break, and I feel like I constantly have to explain that, and it is like very, it makes me sad because like I don't want to feel unproductive. I don't want to feel like I'm not making steps forward, but I've come so far. I used to not be able to get out of bed. I used to just rot away. I used to just rot. All I used to do is just rot. And now I've genuinely come to the point. My goal for this year was to like be doing stuff like majority of the time. And by doing stuff, I mean just like, I'm a big pacer. I pace a lot, and I do think an occasional pace is fun. I love it, just scrolling through TikTok audios and making up fake scenarios. I do think that's very fun. But I think I pace as like a form of to cope with anxiety and to like, I'm a worrier, and it's like I pace a, like I cannot explain how much I pace. I am the queen of pacing. So I've gotten really good at pacing less, which is nice. It does make me sad because I love it. I do love pacing, but I feel like I'm just trying to be more intentional with my free time, I guess. Which has been very helpful for me. I think to be intentional is like it's a very like good thing, because it is so important to have time to yourself and just have like brain off time. I also think it's important to have like media that's like brain off media that isn't just scrolling through TikTok. I do think if you do it right, scrolling through TikTok can be good brain off time, but I think it's also good to have like media that's like easier to consume, that's just brain off, fun, happy media. The Ninja Turtles is not that. The Ninja Turtles stresses me out. Day in, day out, the Ninja Turtles is stressing me out. But like, I'm also watching Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and that's just fun brain off time. I watch like 2 episodes a day. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. But I'm just trying to be more intentional with my free time. So when I'm genuinely doing nothing, like scrolling through TikTok, pacing around, I also have a lot of bathroom time where I just sit on the bathroom floor and contemplate my life. I love that. I love doing it. I'm addicted to the bathroom. I just literally sit on the bathroom floor. The tiles feel good. They're cold. And I just contemplate my entire life and my existence and what it means to be a human. Because that's what bathrooms are made for. They're not made to bathe. They're not made to brush your teeth. They're made to contemplate your life's existence. And I've cut down on the bathroom time as well. So I just want to do stuff. And I know I do feel insecure about like I'm not productive in ways other people are, and I do think I need a job, absolutely, and I'm trying to get a job. I'm not trying to be like, I'm not gonna get a job and this is just me and this is just how I'm gonna behave for the rest of my life. But I do think I need to like be a little easier on myself and be like, I am doing the best I can. I'm looking for a job. And you know what, girl, this is just your summer break. This is any other teenager, especially since school is ending right now, like, at least in Arizona, school is wrapping up. So people are getting their summer break. So I'm just gonna feel like a normal teenager during summer break. I just I'm excited. I'm excited to just feel like a normal teenager for once. As an autistic girl, I never felt normal, and I always wanted to be like a normal teenager. And I feel like I don't care about that anymore in a lot of ways, but I'm still insecure about, like, I want to feel like me just living and like not I also understand what a privilege it is to not have a job. um it's money's tight. I have a single dad. It's I'm not gonna get into it, but it's not looking good for us. He has a job, but there's just a lot of financial issues and stuff, and I do need to get a job because I need to be able to take care of myself and stuff. But I'm 19, and like it's kind of I do need the job. But I feel like also part of being young is to be stupid and to like have fun times. I just think I can do that and also have a job. I want a job. To be very clear, I want a job. If you are in the Arizona area, I'm not gonna say my city because that scares me. But if you are near me, if you are in Arizona, message me. Please give me a job. If I can walk to you, I will gladly work for you. But it's been a mess, my social life and my home life, and I'm doing the best I can, and I'm just trying to be a lot more intentional with my free time and, like, you know what, being productive. I work out twice every day. I'm watching 2 TV shows, which feels productive to me. I've read 43 books so far this year. I watch like 2 to like 5 movies a week. I'm a big media girl. I try to consume a lot of media. That's what I'm most passionate about. I'm also a writer. I write every day. I'm working on my poetry collection. I'm working on my debut novel. I also apply to jobs every day. I clean my room every day. I tidy it up. I generally feel like I do a lot, but I just try to do stuff. I try to make my time as productive as possible because I don't want to feel like I'm rotting away. That's to not get too deep into it. My mom is not a good person. I feel really uncomfortable talking about it. But one of the meanest things she used to say to me when I was really struggling and I didn't really have any friends and I just didn't have a sense of self or an identity, she would say, "You're rotting away. You're rotting away." And it used to hurt so bad. It genuinely, I used to sob to my family, my sister and dad, just to be like, "I'm rotting away." And now when she says it, I'm like, "Girl, no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm literally fine. Like, I'm doing fine. I'm very happy." Like, the only thing I would change right now, I would give my dad $1 million and I would give me a job at the library, preferably. Otherwise, and I'd give myself a car and I'd give my sister a car. Otherwise, I wouldn't change anything. Maybe I'd like improve my social life a bit because social life is hard as an autistic girl. It's hard to make connections. And maybe I'd improve my home life a bit because family's hard as well. But honestly, I would change nothing about myself other than I'd make me employed. I like myself. And I know myself. And I do think I am very proud of myself. I don't ever want to come off as pretentious. You know what I'm saying. And say do I have a lisp, girl? And say I'm better than anybody who struggles with this, but I have a really terrible social life. I have like a couple friends, and I don't have any like deep connections really. So it's mainly me. I'm keeping myself afloat, and obviously that's not ideal. But I will say I have a really good way of like knowing myself and being comfortable with myself. I don't feel lonely a lot. I used to feel so lonely all the time. I used to feel so horribly lonely. Like I never feel full again. Like there's this emptiness inside me. And now I don't feel that way anymore. I feel very happy being by myself, and it's because I gave myself stuff to do instead of just sitting there all day and thinking about my feelings. And I do think life is a balance of letting yourself feel and letting yourself cope and letting yourself feel difficult emotions and having difficult conversations, not only with your friends and your family, but with yourself. Like, that's why I encourage all my friends to do their own video diaries, because it is so important to talk to yourself and be like, what am I struggling with? What are these emotions I'm dealing with? What am I working through? Like, talk to yourself. Like, that's why therapy is so important. But I do recommend, if you can't afford therapy, I know it's not the same, because it is so nice to have somebody's additional feedback, especially a therapist, very unbiased. But if you can't afford therapy, literally sit down at your camera, talk for yourself for 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes, upload it to YouTube privately or unlisted, so you can, like, maybe send it to people if you want. Just yap and yap and yap, delete it off your phone, upload it to maybe a separate YouTube account that nobody's gonna find, post everything privately, boom. That's not a replacement for therapy, obviously, but if you either don't want to do therapy or can't afford therapy, that is a great, like, substitute. That is amazing. It's going to help you so much, I promise, because you need to have difficult conversations with people in your life, not only, like, the state of the political world is terrible. Okay, you're gonna have to have uncomfortable conversations, especially if you are a privileged person. You're going to have to look your privilege in the eye a lot of the time. But also, like, emotionally, you're gonna have to have uncomfortable conversations. Sometimes you're gonna be uncomfortable, and, like, that's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. And you should be having those with your friends and family members. If your friend did something you don't like, if your family member's going through something hard, you know, you're going to be having those. But you should also be having those with yourself. And I am just extremely proud of myself that I'm able to have them with myself. But life is a mix of, like, having those difficult conversations, feeling those emotions, and also giving yourself stuff to hold on to and giving yourself stuff to look forward to. And, like, instead of crying about your relationship with your father, you're crying over Master Splinter. Like, you can create your own good in the world, and it doesn't have to be with another person. Again, nothing wrong with having friends, having boyfriends, having girlfriends, having partners, nothing wrong with that, but you need to find joy within yourself. You need to be comfortable with yourself. You need to be able to spend a night alone, to do stuff by yourself. I am definitely an extreme. You don't have to be as extreme as me. I don't ever hang out with people, but you need to do stuff by yourself, baby girl. You need to do stuff by yourself, baby girl. It's important. Anyways, I'm just extremely proud of myself, and I am so much happier now. And I know I don't necessarily love when people who are happy don't have to constantly say they're happy. I agree with that to an extent. I think people who are happy don't have to weaponize their happiness. I think if you're weaponizing your happiness, you're probably not happy. If you're only bringing up about how you're happy in arguments to prove you're better than people, you're probably not happy. However, I think it's okay for happy people to say they're happy. I don't think that's crazy. I think it's okay for somebody to say, I did really good on my test today. I got an 100. I don't think that's tearing down people who didn't do good. I think that's just being happy for yourself. My last thing I'll say is people hate when women, specifically trans women, women of color, queer women, disabled women, fat woman, ugly woman, any woman, is like, I did good. I'm proud of myself. Wait, I'm sexy. Wait, I'm hot. Wait, I'm a bad bitch. They love to be like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying when you're doing good and being proud of yourself, because if you don't remind yourself that there is good, you're going to forget that good exists. Okay, I'm probably going to go, I don't know what I'm going to do. Hold on. It's 9:45. I told myself if I stayed up till 12, I could have another monster. I got 3 monsters because there was a deal, and my evil mom, gave me money. And so my dad was like, do you want to do the deal for monsters? And I was like, yes, Papa, thank you. I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is just me reminding myself how far I've come. I've done good. I am so proud of myself. I've read 43 books this year. Good on me. Good on me. Good on me, but good for you. Good for you. I'm proud of you. If nobody's gonna tell you they're proud of you, say be proud of yourself. I didn't phrase that right. Okay. That's tomato based girl out. Bye.